Say goodbye to harmful pesticides and hello to a smarter, greener way of farming. To really get the full insight, let's start by looking at how insects interact with plants. What insects are we talking about? If you're a farmer, you might already have a few in mind. It would take forever to describe every potential insect you might consider harmless, but we can break them down into a few general groups. First, we have the sap-sucking insects. These insects pierce plant tissues and suck out the plant's fluids. Individually, each one only takes a little, but when they're in large numbers, they can cause serious damage. This group includes aphids, whiteflies, mites, stink bugs, and others. Next up are the borers. These are actually the larvae of different kinds of butterflies and flies. They attack plant leaves, stems, and even fruits. They're called borers because they damage plants by boring into them. Then we have pests that attack plants from underground, mainly going after the plant's root systems. In short, these pests are herbivores. They feed on plants. But that's not the end of the story. In a natural ecosystem, there are also predators that help keep their numbers under control. Let's meet some of these predators. Despite their cute name and appearance, ladybugs are fierce predators. Before they develop their bright colors, they start out as larvae. These larvae roam plants, devouring aphids. A single ladybug larva can eat up to 40 aphids in just 1 hour. They are extremely hungry. Adult lacewings feed on pollen and nectar, but their larvae prey on soft-bodied pests like caterpillars and aphids. There's another kind of predator that's pretty ruthless. They go after all kinds of pests, including fruit fly larvae, grasshoppers, stink bugs, caterpillars, and more. Sometimes they even eat each other. Although spiders aren't insects, they spend their entire lives surrounded by them. With their web-building skills, spiders are powerful predators, taking down a variety of pests, including whiteflies. Ground beetles are another major group of helpful predators, both as larvae and adults. They eat all kinds of pests, from caterpillars and thrips to slugs, and even nematodes. They are common predators of aphids and are just as aggressive whether they're in their larval or adult stage. Often mistaken for pests themselves, ground beetles are actually highly beneficial for farming. Besides the predators we've already mentioned, there are plenty more beneficial insects you can encourage on your farm, like parasitic wasps, soldier beetles, and many others. You can do some research to learn about even more varieties. However, the pests we deal with today have evolved. These insects no longer have natural predators, so when their numbers grow, we call them pests. These herbivores don't have any natural predators to keep them in check, and when their population gets out of control, it becomes a pest problem. The typical solution is to use pesticides. But unfortunately, pesticides tend to kill more predators than pests, because predators can't build up resistance to pesticides the way pests can. The more we spray pesticides, the worse our pest problems become. So what's the better solution? It's actually pretty simple. Restore biodiversity. One easy way to do that is by growing cover crops. Cover crops are plants grown to protect the soil from erosion, help capture carbon, and improve the soil's physical and chemical properties. Cover crops are different from grass covers, which are often confused with them. Cover crops are planted during the off-season to maintain soil health and biodiversity, while grass covers are grown alongside main crops like bananas or apples. By planting a diverse range of cover crops, we can naturally control pest populations. Plants like marigolds, elephant grass, sorghum, and alfalfa can be effective cover crops. Another sustainable practice is carbon farming, which increases the amount of carbon stored in the soil. This involves returning organic matter to the soil, reducing tilling, and planting cover crops in the off-season. By doing this, we can improve soil health and store more carbon. In the end, it's important to shift toward more sustainable farming practices. By adopting farming methods that support biodiversity, we can keep our farms healthy, free from pests, and more productive.